Hello YouTube, this is Scape Aqua. Today we're going to be making a big dragonstone overhang for a 80 by 40 aquarium. This is it. I'm going to make you a little tutorial. I'm going to tell you what materials you need and how to make that overhang. First we need a ruler, a saw, some PVC, tape measure. So lay out your PVC and that is the part we see under here. This part, how you want it to be. Make sure that the heavy part has something to balance on, otherwise it will just tip over and it will not work. So lay out the ground plan and build up from there with the PVC pieces. And once you've put everything together, mark the pieces overlapping, so it's easier to glue them together exactly the way they were in a later stage. Make sure there are several cross connections in the entire structure so that it will become more solid. After the PVC structure is hardened, I chose to put a PE mesh on it that I'm going to secure with tie wraps. Make sure it fits tightly so none of the animals get trapped inside. And this mesh will give us some area to put our glue on. We'll be able to push stem plants through, but for the most part it's holding everything together really tight. So make it tight, and when we're going to glue on later on with paper and super glue, the mesh will provide something for the glue and the paper to hook onto. Now this structure is going to be partly hollow, so what you can do is you can use that space to hide things in. In this case I'm going to hide a underwater light for aquaria. It'll be really close contact to the soil for carpet plants underneath. It's gonna look really arcade-like, but I don't care. And I'm going to put CO2 hose in there, and I'm going to put a reactor for a Chihiro's doctor in there. So all that is already hidden inside the hardscape. Well, I hope you can enjoy this tutorial. It's a bit lengthy and it's two-part. But there's some really interesting tips in there, I think, for you, and good luck scaping. So I've busted up some large dragonstones so we can have like gluable pieces, so it won't be that bulky, hopefully. Let's see how it turns out. Let's take the stuff inside. So, you remember the structure we built? Well, for me it's a couple of weeks ago. I did some modifications though. Let's turn it a little bit more towards you. Alright. Now we have to start gluing. So I'm going to put pieces here first. I'm going to make them, so I need the flattest pieces here. And for now, mainly I'm working on the visual line that I need to fix. I don't know how it's looking from your side, which is really the most important side. The part on this side is going to be invisible. This is good. And then later there's going to be another layer here, and this part needs to be concealed as well. Make it like this. See? So So the bottom part is no longer visible. I'll make the little stones here. I will give them the appearance that everything is one. But that will take some time. So for now we have to glue all these pieces together and on the structure. So something like that. Let's move you guys a little closer. Now, for hardscaping we tend to use the liquid gel, liquid super glue. Liquid type is generally called. And you can use filter floss with that, which I'm going to get in a minute, but you can also use paper, and you can use cigarette filters. Who does that? So I can just put the paper in there and dab some glue on it, and that glue is going to harden up and it's going to totally fail. See the smoke coming off? Or not? That's what the glue does when it dries. I have a feeling this stuff doesn't absorb as well as toilet paper. So I may change the material here, and we'll use this nice flowers and butterflies toilet paper. And I'm gonna get tweezers. So for gluing I have this very cheap tweezers that I got from a Chinese website, and they're very cheap, but they're also very thin and flimsy, which make them ideal for when you need to glue stuff. So when doing this work, the glue, the amount of glue is huge. The bigger your piece of toilet paper is, the more glue you need. that needs to be kind of totally saturated. Actually, I've been thinking a lot about using epoxy for this. It won't dry as quick, but it will definitely be a lot cheaper. Although this stuff is not really expensive, but you need so much of it. Look at the smoke coming off. That's probably not very healthy stuff. That's one. So, when using glue from the hardware store, it's always a good thing to check the label. And it should say cyanoacrylate. Let's see where it says here. Well, it says here in the danger area, cyanoacrylate. That's important, because that means once that glue is hardened, that it's no longer toxic. And that's important to know, because we're gonna get this in an aquatic setup, and it better be safe, or else our animals are going to hurt. And that is an absolute no-no for me. And it's starting to fume again, which is great news. Just drop it in everywhere those pieces touch. They're gonna hold. And you can even put a bit more in there if you wanna, just to get things connected. And the more connected areas, the sturdier this thing will be. And eventually you want to be able to transport this thing and not rebuild it completely. That would be great, but that's not always going to work. This is not a foolproof plan. It's just a method. It has its ups and downs, and one of them is it cracks frequently, which you don't have if you're using a silicone-based sealant, because that's a little, let's say, pliable. Now, don't roll up the paper too viciously, because then it will fail to absorb the glue and you will get nowhere. So it needs to be touching good everywhere, but it still needs to be able to pick up the glue. And once that glue is in, you can press it in a little further if you like. But be advised, this will cause the tweezers to get sticky, which may not be where you want to be when you put fresh paper in. See that? Not happy. So why did I do that? Well, in order to make a good YouTube video, I think you have to sacrifice. Right. Ooh, this is kind of a good one. hardened. So this area I need to glue. And that's number 2. This is how fast it's going. So now I'll come over to your side. I'll put the camera on the table and I'll show you from the front. I hope I don't shake the table too much, because I do realize that's going to be annoying to watch. However, is this all soft? Yeah, that's still soft. This is hard. That may still be soft. So I'll put some dabs in here. This is soft. So let's put it there too. So, and this stuff is all going to be concealed later. So if you think, oh Frank, I see a little piece of paper there still, it's gonna look ugly. Yeah, it's gonna look ugly. I don't care. It's gonna be concealed. Let's pick it up. It's already possible for this to glue on. So I shouldn't make that sound. That's that noise. Let's put a little in here. Let's put a room there. Hope you're in focus, guys. Oh, you can't see that. I'm sorry. So this was the first part of building the hardscape for the overhang tank. It's gonna look so awesome. You have to watch part 2. That's coming out in about a week, I guess. Well, we did the first layer of dragonstone on the structure this episode, but next week we're gonna finish the second layer and do the underside of the PVC structure. So it's gonna look completely rocky. Let's put it like that, and it's going to give a glimpse of what the end result will be. So stay tuned for that, and good luck scaping.